Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last episode in SAP UI5, we discussed about concepts of custom control. In today's session, we will go ahead and talk about use of Google Map integration. What is Google Map integration and how does it help developers to integrate Google Maps with SAP UI5? Let us go ahead and discuss the same. So, in order to achieve the Google Map integration, we have to use already provided API from Google. You can find these APIs from googleapi.com. You can use this API, which is a JavaScript API provided by Google. So just the way you're using SAP UI5, you will also use the Google API from the cloud. It's a JavaScript API. You will create a reference of this JavaScript API as part of your Bootstrap. So you will have your SAP UI5 project, and then in this SAP UI5 project you will create a reference of this Google Map API, just the way you've been doing reference from SAP UI5 from SAP UI5 CDN. Similarly, you will be doing a reference from Google Map API. Just the way we reference from jQuery, similarly we will do a reference using script tag. So we'll use the script tag and refer the Google Map API as part of our project. First step to be able to load the Google API integration. Before we move on to today's class, there is also a question from Jacob, who is following my sessions via the video based training. And Jacob is asking a couple of questions regarding the custom control. So let me note down these questions. We will also try to address these questions as part of today's class. So Jacob is asking following questions on the email. The first question is, Anubhav, in my project we are using custom control in a JavaScript view. Can you show how to use a custom control using JavaScript view? As in the last class, we already saw usage of custom control using XML views. So XML view based custom control we have already seen, and now its requirement is to display the views using JavaScript view. That is the question which Jacob is asking. So we will be using JavaScript view now to be able to create this custom control and display this as a Google map on our UI. So let us go ahead and create our first project, and then we are also going to reference the JavaScript control as part of our JavaScript view. So we will be creating a JavaScript view rather than an XML view. Now before we move on, let's try to understand how do we get the Google API integration. So let's search for Google Map API, which is a JS API. And remember guys, this API is not free. This API is chargeable, but for trial purpose and training purpose, you can generate an API key, and this API key will allow you to run a demo and sample application using Google Map. So the API is not absolutely free. You can use this API, JavaScript API, for the purpose of creating a simple application. And now you can see an example over here for usage of this API. So it takes you to the Google developers.google.com, where you can find the documentation for this API, and you can see here there is a script tag which is referring this API. Now observe here, this API is not free and it needs something called an API key, which you can generate for demo and practice purpose. Yeah. Click on this button, and now you can choose any of the project. So you will not see, of course, these projects in your computer, your system, because these are created by myself. You would rather see a new project option when you launch this website. Here, just create a new project, give any name, doesn't matter. Click on insert, and now you have your bootstrap ready to load the Google Map API. Yeah, so copy this code, and now we will be using this in as part of our UI5 project. So let's create a brand new UI5 project. So I'll switch to Web IDE, and we will start creating a brand new UI5 project with a JavaScript view this time, because I would also parallelly want to answer this question from Jacob, how to create a JavaScript view using custom control. We will also see that as well as part of the same exercise. So we'll create a custom control. So I just close this, and I'll create a new project, and I name this project as my map, and let's create a web app folder, and now let us also bring the index.html file. So I'm just going to get the index.html file over here, and now we will just put some namespace, and I'll just name it as gmap.demo, and I will just right now comment out everything and just keep the code for creating an XML view. So let's give some name. So we will give the namespace here, gmap demo, and the view type is going to be a JS view, and let's keep the name ID app view, and we're going to place this in the DOM of HTML. So we are going to now create an app view, and the namespace is gmap underscore demo. So that's our namespace, gmap underscore gmap.demo, and we will be creating this this particular app object now. So let's create, right click on the web app, say new, just create a view. Type is this time a JavaScript view, and put the view name as app view. Namespace is gmap demo, and it's an app view which I'm creating. Remember, this time we are going with a JavaScript view. So click on next. You can see a JavaScript view has been created over here. Superb. Now this JavaScript view returns an app object. Inside that app object you have a page object. Yeah, this is my page object, which is part of the app object now. Cool, that's what we wanted. And now let us go ahead and give some title, Google Map Demo, and let's first run this object and see whether it shows you an empty page or not. So as usual, we're going to run this in another window. It's not running, there's some problem. I think the reason is this O page name is not there. Let me give the ID of this O page, and now just refresh. Something is wrong. You see, it's not running. We are returning the app object, view object we are creating, placing it in the DOM. Why it's not working? Let me press F12 and check. Gmap demo view is not found. There is some problem in the view name. So it's Gmap demo and app view. That's the full path of my view, guys. Okay, that is the full path of our view. Guys, I will just get my laptop charger and we will begin again. Just give me a minute. So now here in this case, you can see that I have created a JavaScript view, and we are referencing a JavaScript view over here, which is type JavaScript, and placing that in the DOM. I saw a console error that the view was not existing. Of course, the view name was missing. Let's refresh. And another error is coming. It's saying fail to load Gmap demo app view. I think something is going wrong. Let's check our namespace. Is our namespace proper? Yeah, it is gmap.demo is our namespace. Why it's giving me an error? Any guess, anyone? Why it's giving an error? Unable to load Gmap. Yes, I got the reason. The path is incorrect, guys. Look at here. The path of the view is gmapdemo.view.app. That's the main reason. I missed out .view folder, and that's the reason. Let's come back and refresh, and you will see your Google Map demo view is now loading up. Superb. It's time to add something called a search field here. So let me just go back to the app view, which is a JavaScript view, and in the content of the page, we will add a search field control. Is it a search field? I think it's sap.m.search only. Let's refresh. I forgot the control name. What is the control name for search field? It is search field. F is capital. That's the mistake. And now you can see there's a search field on the top. Now, what exactly we want, guys? We want here to be to bring a Google map. Now, to bring a Google map, you need definitely an area. This is an area you got to plot. Inside this area, you got to bring the map. That's what is required. So there is something called Google Cloud Platform, and Google Cloud offers you this JavaScript API, and you need to tell this JavaScript API, hey JavaScript API, please bring a map for me. And then this Google Map API is going to place the map in your view. But to do that, you need to tell the address where to place. Okay, you need to tell the address to this Google Map API where you wish to place the map. How do you tell this address? You have to pass the object of your DOM. So anybody, which API do you use to get the HTML object of an element? If I want to get HTML object of an element, which API do you use to get HTML object of an element? HTML object of an element, which API will you use? To get an HTML object of an element, which API do we use? We use document.get element by ID. That's HTML element, right? You have forgot the first class where we discussed about it. Yeah. HTML.getElement by ID, document.getElement by ID we will be using. But before that, we need to plot an area. We must need an area in which Google Map can come and sit. So that area we will create via custom control. So let's go ahead and define a custom control. So I'm going to come back and create a new folder, and I'm going to call it as custom controls. And let's create a map object, new file. I call it as gmap.javascript file. And now let's see sap.ui.define function. And now over here on the top, we will put the full path, which is gmap slash, sorry, we got to use SAP UI core control as a base, SAP UI core control as the base class. That's a dependency. And then I say control. And let me just put here control dot extend, and then we have to put here gmap demo slash gmap. That's the full path of the module. it should not be having any dot. Actually we got to put dots. Yeah, comma, curly braces. And you all know how a custom control is designed. It typically has three sections, very important. First is metadata, second is init function, and then we have renderer, which receives two argument, ORM and OControl. This is what we did also in the last class, no rocket science. Exactly same thing. So now we are creating a new custom control called Gmap. Yeah, and this Gmap control is part of your own custom library. Yeah. Let us go ahead and now put here. I think the path is incorrect. Yeah, that's the correct path. So now let us put here what it should return. So I'm saying whenever somebody using this Google Map control, please write a DOM element, which is a div tag. Please write a div element on the UI with the ID as Anubhav, with a style property as maybe I would like to put color, border property, 2 pixels solid red. I want to put the width as 90%. I want to put height as 750 pixels. Yeah, so this is what I am right now doing. So I am writing a div element with a style tag, and now that's a script element which I'm writing, a div element with a script. And now let me just put it in a single line actually, otherwise we have to do concatenation. And now we will just also put the width and height property for this div element. So maybe what you can do is you can break it down with the code which I explained you the other day. Say start the div element, and now we will say orm dot write style, add style, and I will say please add a border property with 2 pixels solid red, orm dot write styles, and I would also add a width property. Please add the width of, let's say, 90% on the page. Orm dot add style. Please add a height property as 750 pixel, and write all the styles, and then let me close the div element. That's what we are doing. We are closing this div element now, and that's all. So this is what creates a renderer function where we are writing a div element on the UI. Let us go ahead and now we will use this custom control as part of our view. So let's do that. I go to app view, and now I'm going to use my custom control over here. So let's use that. But before that, let's add a dependency once again. So I think the dependency is not required. We can directly go ahead and use our control. So I'll say new SAP. My control name is my custom control. So it starts with my namespace, which is actually part of Gmap, and my namespace is Gmap demo custom control Gmap. That's my complete module name. I will use that, and I'll say please create a new control for me. Okay, now guys, it's important to create this control, and remember the web ID will anyway give you an error because web ID will not understand this Gmap demo custom control actually. Okay, it will give you an error. This is expected, but Now you see we have referenced our custom control. So as a result of this, what is that which we are producing in our custom control? We are producing a div element. A div element with ID Anubhav with 2 pixel border, 90% width and height as 750 pixels, and that's a div tag which this custom control should produce. Okay, that is what should happen. Let us go back and see what exactly happens when we use this control. So now it's a JavaScript view, remember. Let's come back and see. I think it won't work. There's something we are missing, but I have to check that. I refresh and now see it says cannot read property Gmap of undefined. It is unable to find it. Reason, we go to sources and check in the sources. It did not even load the custom control folder. Your custom control folder is not loaded at all. Browser did not load it. So if you are using a JavaScript view and you are using a reusable JavaScript file, it is important for you to load the module first. Loading of module is done always with the help of scaffolding. So you go to your controller and in the controller just specify here your module name. It's gmap.demo.custom control. So now it will load the module. Very important. You have to do that. Okay. And now maybe you can give some name. I can say custom controls. Does not matter, but it is must to do that. And now let's come back. Watch out the sources. Since I put now it in the scaffolding template, system is going to load that custom controls section. It's still not loading. So it is not working right because we have not put the proper module name. Module name always has slash. It doesn't have dot. Yeah. I save it. Come back and refresh again. And now still you see it did not load my module custom control folder. It did not do it because it should be a JavaScript file. So I have to also put Gmap over here. It should always be a JavaScript file. So just put Gmap also. Refresh. And now voila, you see custom control module is loaded. Folder is loaded and Gmap is also loaded. Yes, you can see Gmap is loaded. This code is now available for in the browser because it's been loaded the moment you add it as a dependency. That's very important factor for loading unloading of a module. Whatever dependencies you specify, only those dependencies will be loaded in the browser, not everything else. Yeah. And now let's see if it is really using that control or not. I don't think so. So you have to now map that to a global object. So in the controller you have to come and map it to a global object here. Yeah, that's very important to be able to utilize that control. So now I just have to use here gmap colon this custom control. That's a global variable I have declared now with the name called gmap. So now I can go back and use this global variable to declare my object. So let me just first see in the console if there is an error. There is no error in console. Ideally, it should have created the object. Let me check the DOM. So I come to the DOM and I go to the page content. It did not add element Anubhav in the DOM. It has added. See guys, it's working already. System has created an Anubhav element in the DOM. You can see here it's a div element with border, 2 pixel solid red width and height as this. But I have done a mistake in border spelling. That's why you're not able to see it. So we don't need this extra line of code which I added actually. It's enough to load the module. This module is loaded perfect. And now let's come back. There is a spelling mistake which you have done in the border. I'll add that. And now let me just come back and refresh. Let's see what happens now. Just come back and refresh. Voila. Can you see guys? A plot area is ready for you to bring the Google map. This is your plot area, which is now ready, which is a custom control, which has come up to bring the Google Map. So where will you bring your Google Map now from the cloud? Where will you bring your Google Map? You will bring in your plot area. So this is the area where you will bring the Google Map from the internet. Yeah. So you will tell now Google Map, you call the Google Map API. Hey, Google Map API, this is my map area, and I want you to bring a map inside this area. So Google Map, you have to pass the object of your custom control. You have to pass to this Google Map API, and this API then plot a map inside this area. Okay, that's what will happen. So let's come back and do that. So I'm going to come back, and we will have to now call Google Map API. So remember, we have to go to index.html and first bootstrap the Google Map, just the way you're bootstrapping the UI5 library. You have to bootstrap the Google Map also. So let's bootstrap the Google Map, and this is the link to bootstrap the Google Map API with the key, and I can ignore asynchronous defer, that I will ignore, and also I will ignore this callback thing, ampersand callback initial map, that also I'm right ignoring it. Just simply I am calling the Google Map API with my API key. Watch out guys, what will happen. I come back to F12 and show you right now in the sources. You see there is no resource related to Google here. Do you see any resource related to Google loaded in your browser or not? It's SAP, SAP and your project resource. Only these resources are right now loaded in the app. You don't see any Google Map or Google API resources loaded yet. Correct? Now, watch out. I just refresh because I've added now the bootstrap for Google. I refresh and voila. Can you see maps.googlemapapi.com? It has loaded a resource from Google site this time. Why it is possible? Because we've included the Google Bootstrap. The moment you add Google Bootstrap, that line of code, it now invoking the Google and bringing the Google API JavaScript files it's downloading for that Google API. Which means now the way you use SAP UI5 APIs, you can also use Google APIs. See, there are a lot of libraries it has loaded for us now, which means I can now use Google Map Control to bring a map in here. Yeah, how do you do that? Very easy. Let's come back, and what we will do is we will go to my app view, and in the init method we will probably trigger that. So maybe I just go to the app controller, and here we are going to trigger that in the init function. We will initialize the map. You can also do it after rendering, because that makes more sense. After my view is loaded, then only I want to do that. So what I'll do is I will go to on after rendering, and now here I'm going to do that. So first of all, I'll create a global variable. I call it as o map object. You can name it anything. You can name it o Spider-Man. It's your choice. There's no doubt about it. I'm using it as o map to make it look better, and right now mark it as null, a global variable. And I will check now here if this dot o map is null. Okay, if this dot o map is null, then please create the map. So I am going to create the map if the map is null. Initially it will be null. So after my view is loaded, the map is null, I'm going to call Google Map API and initialize my map. So let's use this dot o map. Yes, you're right. There's a question here in chat window, Anubhav. This method will be called again and again every time the view loads. Absolutely, you're right. So this is why we are putting this if condition. It's like creating ALV in ABAP. Those who are comfortable with ABAP, what you do in ALV, PBO. In the PBO, you write the code to create ALV object. And just above that, you put a if condition. If the object already exists, yeah, if object already exists, do not create. If it does not exist, then you create. Correct guys? Same thing we're doing here. And it's important to write this code in on after rendering. It's in the init it will not work, because by the time of init is called, your map API is not available. So we want to also make sure that the view is loaded, and the view has now this custom DOM element called Anubhav added to it, which is your custom control you created, right? So you're creating a custom control div element Anubhav. This how do you make sure that this element is visible on the UI? Yeah, so that is something which you can then write in after rendering, which ensures that the view is perfectly loaded by now. Then only your Anubhav element is visible. And now I'm saying if this map is initial, please create the map object. Next time when this method is called, the map will no more be initial. It will have something. So it won't even trigger this code. Right? This is how we are safeguarding. So now I'll say new Google dot map start map. So I'm creating a map object. Anybody in childhood days when we used to learn geography, how do you identify a particular location on the world map? How do you identify? Perfect answer. Latitude and longitude is what we use to identify location on the world map. That's what we're going to use. So here to this API, map API, we're going to pass the location via latitude and longitude, which is in a JSON format. And we will also pass the zoom level. So I'll say my zoom level is maybe 12, and my location, and I forgot now. Suppose you don't know what properties to pass this map object, right? So what properties to pass to this map object? It's just like, guys, it's just absolutely like passing var o demo whatever new sap.m.button, right? And if you don't know what are all the properties inside this button object, what do you do? What do you do if you don't know what are all the properties inside this button? What do you do? What do you do if you don't know inside the property? You go to UI5 documentation, right? Similarly, here we are using google.maps.map API, which is a Google's, right. So there will be something called Google SDK where you can go and check the documentation of this map object, right? So let's do that. I come back to the map API once again, which we are seeing here. And now here you can see some example. Of course, it says center, which is latitude and longitude it's passing. You can use this also, but you can go to detailed documentation also on these controls. So you can see here drawing the map, and there are these different things displaying the data, directions. So just go to documentation, and I can say places API, places SDK. So there are different APIs, direction API, map SDK for Android, iOS, JavaScript API. You can see it here, JavaScript API. Just click on that. And now here you see this example for JavaScript API. So complete information is available on Google documentation for the API. Complete information, guys. References, you can refer references, you can refer samples, and you see here there's a map API and there's a map object, and now you can find all the properties. There's a map, there's a fit bounds, get center, there's a center property. Yeah, so you see a lot of these properties are there. Each of the property, their information, absolute information is available to you. You see this is a center property which accepts a latitude longitude object. So I'm going to use this center property. So let me just go to center property. It's not location, and I'm going to use latitude and longitude. So lat colon, and I have to pass latitude, and lng longitude, I have to pass it. Okay, so that's the center property which I have, and in this you have to pass a latitude and longitude object. You can see this is how a latitude and longitude object looks like. Now let me find out the latitude and longitude for India, because I want to center my map initially on India. So I will say latitude India. Let's do that. Hey, can you please tell me the latitude longitude for India? So, oops, it doesn't show me here. And yes, here it is. It's 25937. Let me pick it up. That I put it in the north. And you can also pick this up. I don't know which city it will target, but it'll at least target India. I think it may be for Delhi, these exact ones. And let's go ahead and run our app once again. I'm going to come and refresh, and oops, it is still not showing. The reason being we did not tell the map API where to place the map. We just told the map zoom level and the center of the map, but we didn't tell the object where the map should come. You remember I told you there are two things. So now you have to pass the object in which the map should come. So I say document dot get element by id, the container, guys. You have to pass the container object, and my id of the element is Anubhav. So I'm now passing the object of my element in which the map should be created. This is the div element ID which is generated, and then the properties for the map. Save this. Let's come back and refresh. And I see a gray color window. Something is happening here. Yeah. Let's see what happens. It is, I think it didn't find the location. I think my latitude, longitude are incorrect, guys. Something is wrong with my latitude and longitude. So maybe just have to remove this single quote. Maybe that could be the issue. Single quote could be the issue. Let me try without single quote. And voila. Yes, guys, it's taking me somewhere, but let me zoom out and you would see India. There you go. You can see it has directly taken me to India, and that's my Google map. I think somewhere in Maharashtra it was taking me, that those coordinates are for Maharashtra. If you want to start from Delhi, so you can just go and get the coordinates for Delhi. So latitude, longitude for Delhi, and now I can just pick it up. 287041, 287041, and this is 77.1025. That's a Delhi latitude, longitude. And I can come back and refresh, and you see that it will start from Delhi. There you go. It has put my map in the center of Delhi. Shalimar Bagh, Punjabi Bagh, Green Palace. I love this place. एक बार पानी पी लोगे तो कहीं नहीं जाओगे. Okay, let's come down, and that's your Delhi location, and it's all in India. There you go. It has centered my map to Delhi. Superb. So that's the basic rendering of the map. Now, the ultimate requirement here is to give some location. Suppose I want to search for Mathura, and I click on search button, and it should take me to Mathura, right, guys? So how do we do that? Do you think humans can remember numbers? Do you think humans can remember number? Why do we have this facility to store mobile number in our phones? The reason is simple, because mobile numbers mobile numbers cannot be remembered by human. It's a big number. Human can remember names. Yeah, human can remember city names, but they can't remember latitude, longitude. So that's why we need another API to be used which identifies latitude and longitude for us for a given location. And that API is called geocoder API. Google offers a geocoder API. That geocoder API helps you to geocode a location. So you can see geometry library, and there will be a API called geocoder API. Okay, so you can use the geocoder API to decode and identify latitude and longitude by doing a live Google search using the geocoder API. So all these are different APIs. You can see API references map, and you see these are APIs drawing map. So you see there are a lot of APIs here. So I'm interested in geocoder API. Let me just search for that. So I go and search for geocoder. So geocoding, I think. Yeah, geocoding. And this is geocoding. So I want to find out what is the given location. So you can now use geocoder request. So geocoder.geocode method you can call to find out for a given address what is exactly the latitude and longitude. Okay. So you input the address in here, and then this will return you the result asynchronously. Asynchronous function it will return, and there you can get the result. So let's use the geocoder API, and that is something on click of search button we're going to use. So we'll pass a location, click on search button, and then we should get the geocode location, and then we have to center our map to that location. So watch out the steps to achieve that. So I come back to app view, and now we have a search field over here, and I will just put here a press event for search field. I think it's search event, not press event. So search event, and I'll just say o controller dot search map, and I just use search map. And let me just come back to the method, o event, and now what I'll do is I'll use this o event dot get parameter, and we have a query parameter which will tell me what is the location address which user is passing, what is that user looking for. And once again I'm going to use geocoder API, so that's part of once again the Google map. So I'll say Google, and I just have to create a geocoder object, and I say geocoder dot geocode for me. Yeah, that's the API. You can always check the documentation over here. You can see this geocoder object, and then you have geocode method called. In that you pass the address. So let's pass the address, and location name we're gonna pass, comma, and now we will give a function which will return you result and status, whether the search was successful. So sometime user may enter some junk value, there is no location with that name. So you're getting two arguments by default from this function, and this will tell you whether they what is the status of the search. Is this a valid location? If is this a valid location, what is the result? Now what do you think, guys? This result, is it a type of a single record, or will it be multiple record? When you search something on the map, what do you think it should return? Single record or multiple record? What do you think? What do you think? Multiple. Why? Suppose I search for Punjab. What do you think is Punjab is only there in India? Do you think Punjab is only there in India? Anyone? No, Punjab is there in Pakistan also, right? It's there in half Punjab is there in Pakistan and half is there in India. So there is also Punjab in Pakistan. So which means when you do a Google search for Punjab, it should give you all the Punjab with multiple values. Even there is a small Punjab in Canada, right? There's a Punjab in Canada as well. So it will give you all those Punjabs which are there at different locations in form of an array. So now this particular results you're going to get with multiple records. I'm going to take the first record out of it, and I will be consuming. So let's put a debugger first of all to just experience it. And I will also create a local variable that equals to this one I have already explained you in the past, the purpose of that equals to this, but let's use this now. On search button, it should call this geocode API, pass the address, and get you the result, and debug, hit the debugger. So let's go back and test it. So I'm going to press F12, refresh the app first, and I'm searching for Punjab, and click on search. Oops, something is wrong. Google.maps.geocoder is not a constructor. I think I had to put geocoder C small. Probably that is the reason. And once again search for Punjab. And voila, you see it's hitting the result, geocode function result debugger. And look at the results here. and status. So the results has got one component, zeroth item, and its status is okay. It has found the location, guys. It has found the location, and the result is right now having one element, zeroth element, which gives you the latitude and longitude of the location. So let's explore this results element, results of 0. And now just come down and you can see here it has got address Punjab. The detail location is there, geometry, and you have location, and you have latitude and longitude as functions to return you the latitude longitude of that location. So results of 0, geometry, location, latitude. So results of 0 dot geometry dot location dot latitude, that's a latitude for Punjab, and then you have LNG longitude for Punjab. So you can see now with the given location you found the latitude and longitude. It's time to change the map center to this location now. Okay, I hope it's clear, everybody. Why it's not giving multiple, I have no clue. Ideally it should have given multiple, but I'm not sure. There must be some setting, because of that it's giving right now only one result. Okay, there must be some setting, guys. I'm not aware of it. So let's create an object now, var location loc object, and I say latitude, and I'll see longitude. So I'm putting both the latitude and longitude now in this reusable LOC object. And now I'm going to bring my map object, global map object. This is my map object which is displayed to the user. So let's bring that up, that dot omap, and I'll say, hey, can you please set center for the map to new location LOC. Please center my map to new location. Together with that, guys, I'm also going to use another API which Google offers, google.map.marker API. This marker API allows me to position and bring that small marker. Have you ever seen marker on maps? Have you ever seen marker on maps, guys? Have you ever seen marker? A small kind of red pin, right? Red color pin which you get on the map, which exactly points you to that location. Exactly, that's exactly a marker. So that's a marker API, which it comes via marker API. In this marker API, you have to pass the map object. Let's pass my map object dot omap. Let's pass the location. Now I'm not aware of marker API, what to pass, right? So go to Google api.com and search for the marker API, and you see the marker Android SDK. Just search for the marker API, see what else we can pass. So we can pass just map.add marker. We have to pass position, title, and map object into it. Actually, we have to pass map object, position, and title. So map object I'm passing, position is this LOC, and we have to also pass the title. So title is what we is this or location name I'm passing, and that's it, guys. You're gonna see a beautiful red color pin also on your map with that marker. Let's come back and experience the search with Google. Refresh, and now hey, I'm right now probably somewhere in Delhi, and I want to search Mumbai. Amchi Mumbai. Just search for Mumbai. Search, and voila, can you see it has taken me to Mumbai, guys? Yeah, it has taken me to Mumbai. But where is my marker, boss? Something is wrong. I think it's OMAP. I think it's OMAP probably. Let me just try that up. So once again, Mumbai. No, it's not working. So I forgot the marker API interface, what I have to pass. So let me just check that. So there's a title, there is a position, and there is something called map object we have to pass into the marker API. So to search for marker, I have to search for JavaScript API for marker actually. And just check that. It's showing actually the Android API. I'm interested in JavaScript marker API. Yes, here we have. and here you have marker and position, map object and title. That's all we want. So map object, position and title. And let me also change the zoom level, set zoom to maybe 8. Yeah, let's try this up. I hope this should work. Let's come back and test it. So just come back, refresh the page, and I'll search once again from Mumbai, and it's not bringing the marker, guys. Ideally it should have got the marker. I'm not sure why it's not bringing. Ideally it should have got a marker object. No, we don't need any other variable. Let me give a last try. Am I missing something? It's google.maps.marker API position, and I think we have to create it in a local object. Yes, guys, you see here, I just put as a map. I should have put maps. S was missing. That was a mistake. And now let's give a try. I hope that's fine. It should work now. So I just put Mumbai, and oops, it's still not coming. I may have to assign this to a variable. Yeah, I may have to assign this to a variable. So map object that dot o map, please, and position, that's okay, and then we have to just pass the title. Yeah, looks all okay. How come it's not working? Let me give a last try. No, it's not bringing, guys. Something is wrong. I'm not sure. Okay, so at least it's taking Mumbai, and let me now search for Santa Clara, and there you go. It took me to Santa Clara, San Jose, US, and maybe I want to search now for Taj Mahal, and voila, it takes me to Agra, somewhere Agra in the Taj Mahal. But the zoom level is not so good and marker is also not there, so I can't find exactly where is my Taj, right? So we need marker API to bring exactly point to the Taj Mahal. I'm not sure why it's not pointing to Taj Mahal, why it's not marking it. So latitude, longitude, map is getting set, zoom level is getting set, but position, title, it should bring, guys. No, it's actually taking you to Agra, which means it's taking you to Taj Mahal. Let me increase the zoom level to 14. At least without marker also it will now take you to Taj Mahal. And now there you go. You can see it's taking you to Agra Fort, Taj Mahal. It's zoom in and see if we can find. We are unable to find the Taj Mahal, guys, because it's very difficult without marker API. However, yes, here is Taj Mahal. You can see. This is Taj Mahal. And now if I want to see something amazing, I can drag this user and drop it to Taj Mahal compound. And now it shows you the Taj Mahal, guys. It took you directly to the Taj Mahal compound. Okay. It took you directly to the Taj Mahal compound. That's the beauty of Taj Mahal. Now maybe I just go back and drag my user once again somewhere else. You can get an absolute view of Taj Mahal. Superb. The Taj, guys, on your screen. Okay. So there is something I'm missing out actually on the marker side. So var marker new google.maps.marker API, and we are then saying map or that map position, something we are missing. Because of that it's not bringing the marker. Ideally it should have bring the marker. So position, title, google.maps.marker, and set map. LOC we have already used, and this has latitude, longitude. We already done that. So this has latitude and longitude. So map is also set here already. You can see the map object is being set into this. So this has nothing to do with map object also. Maybe some issue with the API key. but at least hope you got an idea how to use the map API. So you can search for any location you wish to, guys, and you can really navigate wherever you wish to. So that's the beauty of Google Map API. It gives you a 3D view completely embedded as part of your Fiori app, and that's how you can integrate it in your project. Any questions before we close today's class? It was so easy to bring, just use Google Map API. So likewise, every company offering APIs, be it like your Twitter, your Facebook. So you can also find location. Let's say I want to travel from this Hanuman temple to Taj Mahal. What is the location? What is the travel? So the Uber or Ola, all these cabs companies, they're also using the Google Map API, paid API. It's called direction API, which they use. So likewise, Google offers multiple APIs to calculate areas, lot of different stuff it can use. So those things are all there with Google. Suppose I want to draw a Bermuda triangle, right? So I want to draw Bermuda triangle. I can also draw like this. I can have three different locations marked on the map, and I want to now calculate an area. I want to draw a triangle, I want to draw a polygon, I want to draw a circle, anything which you wish to do. You can use asset tracking API to check where are your assets. For example, if I'm a cab company, all my cabs are on the road, I want to track where is which cab is where. I can use asset tracking API. So Google is offering amazing map APIs and services using Google Map, and you can use all those different variety of things available. I hope it's clear, everybody. So, any questions before we close today's class? Driving option I've never tried. You got to explore it, Srinivas, by yourself. Just go and check the Google Map API, JavaScript API, and here you can find driving directions. There must be a driving API. Direct. It's called direction API. Yes, you can see direction API. So with this, you can draw the directions between 2 points, point A and point B. Yeah. So location and destination you can draw, and then it will draw the location between those two things. You can try this, get started. So you can create simple projects. A lot of code is also available on the Google Maps. So which you want to use? You want to use map, routes, places. So a lot of things you can use, and you can utilize this API. Very, very big API Google offers. So that's something you got to try out. So you see, you have to create a project and say next, and then you have to use it. Okay. So that's something called Google Map API. Now, in the next session, we will talk and start with OData services with SAP UI5. So stay tuned for the sessions. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Goodbye.